it's time for our big topic. And Celeste, I am so glad you're here with us tonight for this one. Because we're going to talk about Aloy, Horizon, and misogyny in video games. Yes. This is a big one, guys.
We need some femininity. We need some femininity on this show.
I
now that Nellie's not here.
Nellie definitely abandoned us, and we need her the most on this one. All right, so here it is. And you guys know me by now. About once a month, I wind up writing a nice big topic piece that usually becomes an editorial on BossRushGames.com. So here we go. I feel like this happens at least once a quarter. But it almost always happens when a title from a Sony IP comes out, or a Sony IP gets announced, or there's a spotlight to detail new features and content for a game that is coming soon. You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm sure you've had to have seen at least one example of this over the past 2 years. I'm talking about the rampant misogyny that's truly hitting the gaming industry in this day and age. You know, we have our Me Too movements, everybody's woke now and stuff like that, but why are dudes so stupid when it comes to women in video games? Why is that? As the lady on the panel tonight, I ask you, Celeste, what's the deal? Okay, as a woman and on the outside looking in at us male gamers, what is it about us that we just get that makes us stupid about the way we see things in video games?
I do want to say I've been fortunate in my lifetime to have made friends with men and boys, when I was younger, over video games. And so far, no one has made me feel bad or tried to make fun of me or make me feel less than just because of my gender. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Or maybe it's happened behind my back. Maybe people didn't want to see me cry when I was a kid. I don't know. But but I would say it's insecurity. Why are bullies bullies? There's something wrong in someone's heart and soul. Something is troubling them, so they're going to pick on other people. Or a lot of times men doing this to women, they really want to be with a woman and maybe they're having trouble due to their insecurities. Maybe the woman's not interested in them.
Are we talking about incels?
Oh yeah, we could be talking about that. And I know that they are a popular group to make fun of, but something's wrong with people who feel that way, and they can cause harm to other people. That's what worries me.
Yeah.
It's not a joke anymore when they start hurting other people because they're unhappy with themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been stories. What was it in 2013, 2014 in San Bernardino, California, that really narcissistic fellow wanted to lose his virginity and felt like he was owed certain looking types of women, and because none of them wanted to sleep with him, he went on a murder spree.
Yeah, I remember that. As a matter of fact, I had hard conversations with people about that because I had hard conversations about that with men and women because here's the thing about it. If there was, and I've said this, and for some people it clicked. There is no textbook way for how somebody deals with rejection. If there was a textbook way, we would know exactly what we're in for whenever somebody tells us no when we ask them if they want to go on a date, or no, if we want to spend time with them, or no if they want to sleep with us. We would know every time what the reaction would be, but there's no textbook reaction for this stuff. So it's going to be shocking no matter what, because hey, this person could kill themselves, this person could kill other people, this person could do something ridiculous, and the sad part is I feel like this, and you know what, I'm a man, so I can say this. I feel like people still haven't learned, as parents raising their kids, to be able to teach their young boys how to deal with their emotions in a healthy way. I feel that way. I feel that way. Which actually brings us into like the next paragraph of this. Male gamers have this knack, this uncanny knack for talking about things that equate to femininity in the overall gaming sphere. Over the years, I've witnessed things from male gamers that I can only sum up as either cringe or just outright sexist, and it doesn't ever seem to get stopped or even get better, despite how much people will try to educate or even combat it. Here are some examples I've seen throughout my long time as a gamer. Number one, we've heard this quote before. I had a lot of fun playing that game until I realized the hero was not a man. What? I wonder what game we're talking about.
To say, I can only think of one game.
And you know what? You know what? That's a modern gamer saying that. That wasn't somebody that played it when they were a kid.
Yeah.
Number two, why are almost all the main characters nothing but women? Number three, girls can't be great gamers. They only worry about cutesy and unrealistic stuff. Here's another good one. It was a good story until the lesbian agenda crept in and took over the rest of the game. Really, bro? Really? and here's the best one so far, and what actually got me rolling onto this topic for tonight. The best one I've heard to date is that studio is making all their lead female characters look masculine as hell.
LeRon, can I have a moment?
Yes.
Just for a second.
Yes, go for it. Go for it.
We ladies can like cutesy things and be bubbly and happy and still be incredibly intelligent and competent people.
Mhm.
I can love Hello Kitty and I can also enjoy Resident Evil. They are not mutually exclusive. We do not worry only about cutesy and unrealistic stuff. I'm not sure where someone got that idea, but I bet this gentleman would also like to get laid. And I don't know how often that happens, but I'm assuming it's not anytime soon. I was a good story until the lesbian agenda crept in. How often is this fellow looking up lesbian porn? That's what I would like to know. Okay, that's something I've noticed. People are very quick, these kinds of people, to objectify women and to enjoy them for their pleasure. But when reality happens, it can be a bit of a problem. So, yeah, okay, that studio is making their lead female character look masculine as hell. What about the reversal? Would you say that studio is making their lead male character look feminine as hell? I don't know, or androgynous. It's just honestly, these people are unhappy people, and I think a lot of them are trolls, and they're going to sound off on the internet because someone's going to knock them out in real life if they say these things. And I just, are these adults? Are these working adults? Or are these little boys?
They're adults. I'm not sure if they're the emotional maturity to be adults, but they're adults, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they think it makes them sound cool, yet they're also the ones who tend to pine for a female partner. And I would like to know, this is something I've always wondered. What do they want in a partnership? Or do they view it as the traditional 1950s stay-at-home housewife? Would they want to control their partners? Would they want their partners to have male friends? Would they want their partners to be educated? God forbid their partner might earn some more money than they do. I mean, I don't know. I'm always curious. I would love to have a conversation with these people. Get on my 1v1 podcast if you are listening, have ever felt this way. I don't want to embarrass you. I want to try to understand where you are coming from and see what went wrong. What happened?
That's more than fair. And the cool thing about Boss Rush Games is like we're fair. We're not judgmental, not to a certain extent. Like, if you're going to this level of douchiness by talking about like a lesbian agenda that may or may not even exist in the game, or the fact that women are supposed to look a certain way, things like that, or the fact that the hero can't be a woman and stuff like that, there might be a little judgment coming at you. At least, at least as a man, I can judge you as another man, that way. I can at least do that. Austin, before I break into
Yeah,
the next segment of this,
yeah.
anything you want to add?
Man, I mean, Celeste said it perfectly, and I really think like I posted about it on Twitter the other day where, and you correct me if I'm wrong, and I may say something that people disagree with, but I don't see these people online. I see people talk about them, but I don't see these people online. And it's because I don't give them the time of day, and neither
Mm-hmm.
should anyone else. I really wish people would stop giving these. I call them clowns online. I'll call them clowns here. Stop giving these people the time of day. Stop letting their voice be heard, because that's the only reason why they go to the internet in the first place,
Yeah.
so they can be heard. If
The,
they said it in real life, everybody would be like, "You're stupid." Like, and and for this one, like, I remember the big thing was with Ellie, in The Last of Us with the lesbian agenda, whatever. And then Aloy, it's like, if I'm Aloy, I would be like, I'm sorry, I'm fighting robot dinosaurs in a in a post-apocalyptic world. I didn't have time to put on mascara. Like, I'm sorry, like,
exactly.
like,
And
and
Austin, to back up that quote, Betsy Johnson, the designer, has a quote that says, "Girls do not dress for boys; they dress for themselves and, of course, each other. If
Oh
girls dress for
yes.
boys, they just walk around naked all the time."
Oh yes. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's so true. Yeah, it's a stupid thing. It's a stupid that's coming up. But the problem is the fact that people are talking about it means that you gotta say, hey, this is not cool. Like, the people that do think like this are mentally ill. They
Yeah.
just they're not thinking straight, or they don't know how to handle. Especially, I mean, they especially just don't know how to handle women. Period. Let alone
We're
probably
not
talk.
that we're not that difficult.
No, no. I mean, maybe their mothers are. Who knows? Maybe that's why they have problems. That's the only woman they've talked to. So,
All right. So I'm gonna save us all some pain and suffering and not get too much more preachy about this. But I do want to say something. All right, in the perspective, and Austin already kind of hit on it, in the perspective of Horizon Zero Dawn, uh, 1,000 years in that future, humanity has survived an apocalyptic cataclysm, and the remnants of who we are has never returned to the current mecca of postmodernism, techno marvelization that we bask in right now in 2021. Like, it's getting to the point where our technology is so good that our intelligence has gone down. Like, we actually let machines think for us now, and that's scary.
yeah,
So how far fetched would it be that eventually we might wind up in a world where the machines are dominating everything? I'm not saying like, Terminator or nothing like that. Just that the machines are doing more. Think of it as Wally. The machines are doing everything for us, like
yeah,
in that movie. You know,
yeah,
I human intelligence. We're still making strides and stuff, but I feel like some people are holding themselves back, and I also feel like the education system also has something to do with it in our country. You know, there's that.
yeah.
But going back to this, like, it's not too far fetched to think that women in this post-apocalyptic era that Aloy lives in this game, and I understand this is all fiction. I understand this, but you know what? Don't patronize me on this one.
Yeah.
Women in this era would probably be more muscular, probably own much more willpower,
Yeah,
and have a richly honed sense of survivalism in a world with giant mechanized monsters and uncivilized people trying to wreck your shit on a daily basis. Come on, guys,
exactly.
come on, stop being stupid about this. Like, in this type of era, you're gonna as a as a male hunter gatherer and stuff like that, you're gonna want a strong female beside you. You're not gonna want to be able to be the only person defending your wife and all your kids when something is going down. You want to have as many partners as you can, well, not partners in polygamy, but you want to have as many people as you can that can help defend your clan and your family and stuff like that.
Yep.
So the idea that you want like some super meek, feminine person, because I'm not going to say woman, I'm
Yeah.
just going to say feminine person, you
Yeah.
know, makes zero sense when it's all about survivability and passing on your genes to make sure your clan lives to the next day.
Yep.
Uh, and also this. Aloy's look in the new generation in the new generation of consoles isn't anything major. I already looked at the comparisons of Aloy in Zero Dawn versus what we were shown in the Forbidden West State of Play, and the updates to her looks aren't anything drastic.
No.
If you take a look at Nathan Drake though in Uncharted 4, he looks very different compared to his Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 models. And the sad part is like the time pass between Uncharted 3 and 4 wasn't that long. I think it was like 3 years. But
Yep.
Nathan Drake almost looks like a different person in Uncharted 4 compared to his 1, 2, and 3 personas. You know?
Yep.
And I remember seeing the reveal. I remember seeing the reveal gameplay of Uncharted 4 at E3, and I almost didn't recognize Nate. I almost did not recognize him. The only reason why I did recognize him is because he moved like Nathan Drake, he talked like Nathan Drake, but I almost did not recognize the actual character for the way he looked and stuff like that. So you guys, they're saying like, Aloy looks so different and stuff. You guys are full of shit.
And she almost looked exactly the same as she did in
Yeah.
the first game. Like, I don't. Anyone who's saying it's a problem now is like, did you even play the first game? Like,
Yeah.
what are you even looking at?
They probably played it on the base PS4 without the enhancements.
Yeah.
I don't know how many young female listeners you guys have, but all of this as you were talking, LeRon, it made me think about how insecure I was when I was going through my quote unquote awkward period as a young girl, and how many cruel thoughts I had about myself. And I compared myself to other women and other girls and the women I'd see in magazines. And I know this term gets used a lot, like internal misogyny, like you kind of feel like you're in competition with other women, or you don't want to be like other girls, you want to blend in with the boys because you think that's going to impress them. And I just, when I think about how cruel I was to that little 10-year-old version of myself and how critical I was, I wouldn't say that to a 10-year-old girl today. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
so please be kind. If you have daughters, or children who identify as female, it's men and boys too. I mean, we all have self-conscious behaviors, but I don't know. It's
Men-
it just makes me
I mean,
so sad.
Yeah, men and women are different. Like, there's no doubt
Mhm.
about that. But that doesn't mean like Celeste said, you can like Hello Kitty and like Resident Evil at the same time. Like, everyone has that capability to like different things and like the same things. We just may see it at a different angle. But at the end of the day, if you're putting someone down for how they see things, then that's just wrong. It's just cruel.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Celeste.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say on the reverse. When I grew up, if a guy liked more feminine things, guess what? Guess what he was called? You know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're gay. That's
Yeah.
gay.
Yeah.
So boys deal with some, and there's nothing, but it was meant as an insult. It wasn't. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it wasn't meant to be celebrated. It
Right.
wasn't.
But
It was very
what's
harsh.
funny is most of those insults are put on by other men. So even
Mhm.
men are the problems of their own
Yeah.
insults.
We cause our own problems, honestly.
Yeah.
So ultimately misogyny just rears its ugly head again and again, and here we are wondering right now why men are like this. I have I here's the thing though. I think we inflicted it on ourselves, just like Austin said a moment ago. Sexist overtones in the conversation about women in gaming is truly nothing new, but the reason for this mode of thought could be because for decades as gamers, we've been treated to testosterone fueled depictions of women unrealistically in unrealistic situations. From your fighting games to your adventure games to even puzzle games. We've seen females in that gaming umbrella in some of the most unflattering yet highly sexualized and objectified getups. And for years, it was never an issue. It was never an issue, honestly, until the 2010s. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, we heard some people say, "Hey, why is she dressed like that? She's going to slay dragons and she's wearing a bikini. Why is she?" We heard some people say it, but now the voice is getting louder, and I'm appreciative of that. Stuff like that. Um, at least it was. I always feel like it was never an issue for male gamers. I can't think of too many male gamers that were upset about the fact that Lara Croft started off as a sex symbol in Tomb Raider. And
Yeah.
you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I even mentioned it in an earlier segment of the show about her attributes in the old school Tomb Raider games, stuff like that. So here we are. Here we are. We have gaming as a medium, which which definitely is populated more by boys than girls. That is true. Even though I've read somewhere that the gaming base has shifted. I know for a fact. They said PlayStation gamers is like 40 to 45% female now, where it used to be much more dominated by men now and stuff like that. So the landscape of gaming has changed. I don't know the exact numbers. I can find them and I can share them later and stuff like that. But more and more women and girls are playing video games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
why are we being freaking Neanderthals and not getting with the times and being more acceptive of it,
Yeah.
accepting of it, I should say.
Yeah, and
Um,
we want women in games because without it, where we wouldn't have Uncharted, like without
exactly,
Amy
Uncharted.
Hennig, what would Uncharted be? So
Exactly,
we
exactly.
want women in games.
Yeah. Uh, the cool thing is, the cool thing now is that video games have more female lead characters and heroes in video games
Yeah,
overall, and it's coming to be more representative of who and what we look like as a society. And suddenly, but on the flip side of that, suddenly the more anatomically correct woman that we see in video games is an affront. It's offensive to somebody, and it's ridiculous. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. If her looks aren't aesthetically pleasing enough, it's a problem. So I asked the question again: are male gamers okay? Ah,
Listen, if you have to have a woman that looks like that, there are hundreds of games that you can play that aren't Horizon, and you'll get the
Mhm.
same fix. I
Mhm.
mean, play any anime game is it's still pretty much like that. You'll get your fix. So, but I suggest you if that is what you're gaming for, then that kind of sucks. If that's what you're only getting out of games is another way to objectify women.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of, okay, this is just from my observation, just in maybe it's the media, I don't know. I notice a lot of the guys who are like this, um, subjectively speaking, are not maybe the most attractive men in the world, which that's just my personal observation. I don't know, maybe they're very cute to other people, but and there's like that, excuse my language, Madonna horror complex. Either she's someone you want to take home to meet your mom, but she also can't be sexual, or if she's sexual, she's not someone you want to take home to your mom. It's just weird, and I don't know. And then you hear about women who work in the sex industry getting murdered and
Hmm.
killed, and they're treated like objects. It's this is they're people too. Just because they dress a certain way and do certain things for money, they're still people.
Yeah, yeah. We need to have a conversation about men and how they treat women in the sex industry, but we need to say that for an episode of Boss Rush After Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went into
No, 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 no. It's great you brought it up because we can clip this. I've got one last thing to say on this segment, and then if we still have some open forum stuff to talk about, we're welcome. We're more than happy to keep talking about it. Here's the last thing I'm going to say about this. I cannot speak for how women should be nor how they should look. I can't do that. It's not my place. I have my own ideals about femininity as a man, like er, most men do, But I keep them to myself because I cannot tell anyone of the opposite gender how to look, how to carry themselves, or how to be like a woman. I'll even hazard to guess that other women who are far more qualified than I am of being a woman shouldn't go around telling other women how to be more feminine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst. I'll give you an example. I've had gray hair since I'm 17, and I've been dyeing it up until about 2 years ago. Now I'm just seeing how I like it, and it's driving my mom insane. Her favorite thing to say is, "Does your boyfriend, does Timmy like your hair?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, Mom. I never asked him. I just, just let it happen."
That's the
He better
that's the
start
one.
liking it.
That's the reason. That's the reason why I love that movie Mean Girls, because it gives us a nice glimpse at what's called girl world, and oh my god, I thought us dudes were bad.
Well, y'all are mean to one another's faces. Girls are more insidious usually.
Yeah,
We're mean behind one another's backs, which is
yeah, and
way worse.
that's one of the things that Mean Girls talks about, and you know what? I don't care. Mean Girls is like one of my top 10 movies, so like I don't care. Like, I also have a thing for those teenage drama movies anyway. So Mean Girls is right up my alley. But I mean, basically, long story short, guys, stop being dicks. Really, stop
Yeah.
being dicks and stop thinking with your dicks when it comes to this topic. I can't make it any simpler than that. And you know what? Here's another thing too, because we see this online from time to time. A lot of people are like, like, oh, if I had a daughter, it wouldn't be like this. You know what? You shouldn't even have to think about if you had a daughter, or you shouldn't even have to think if you had a sister, or you shouldn't even have to think that if this happened to your mother or whatnot. You need to think about the fact that you are inflicting this on somebody of the opposite gender, and you're one of the main reasons why women get raped and killed in the military. You're one of the main reasons why women never feel safe walking from their car to their own house, their front door. You are the reason why, women will not trust men ultimately. Like, a man will do something that will ultimately break a woman's trust in the rest of the male species. And chances are, if you're one of these dicks that turn around and say stuff like a lesbian agenda in video games, or she doesn't look feminine enough, or how dare they make a woman a lead character in my game, you're the reason women have trust issues with men.
Well, that was good. That was good. Thank you, LeRon. That was really powerful.
All right.
I can't say anything after that.
All right, so the only question I have is sexism and rampant misogyny a thing that can be fixed, or is it just a lost cause? Or is it just people just being asshats on the internet and trolling just for hits?
So this is a whole other episode. I mean, we also have to look at cultures. I will say there are some countries I would not go to.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a completely different topic, but
You look at other cultures and America's like, oh, America's not that bad.
oh, I can do a lot of things here. Yeah, there are some problems, but I don't have to worry about having acid thrown at my face.
Just because you didn't want to, and, I'm not mocking anybody's culture and stuff like that, but the fact that other cultures can't recognize our own, someone else's culture, and will do stuff like that, throw acid on a woman's face because she not so much even refuses, just will not wear like something that completely covers her face or covers all of her hair and stuff like that. That's wild. You want us to respect your cultures and ideals, but you won't respect ours at the same time. It's wild. It's wild.
We're not that scary. I promise. We ladies are not trying to take over the world. And wouldn't you want a competent partner, like y'all were saying? Wouldn't y'all want someone who can take care of herself? I mean, if you're disabled, you want somebody who can.
What I'm about to say next is probably gonna invite some people to like be all up in my mentions, all up in my DMs, whatnot. But here's my thing about it. I've always loved and appreciated a a a strong woman. Hell, even if they have like a masculine energy to them, I've always appreciated that. Because here's the thing about it. Like, look at me. I'm a 6'3", 240-pound guy and stuff like that. By default, though, I'm a male, so I can do stupid stuff, and I would love to have a partner that can put me in check. When I do something stupid, things like that and stuff like that. And and I'm not saying like some little frail woman couldn't do that, because like my mom is like 5'4" and she will climb on a stool and and knock me down a peg if necessary and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, like I I'm ex-military, and I served with women who could bring it almost as hard as any man could, and that says a lot, because there's always going to be some type of gap between what men and women can do. But I've met women who take it to that level as well, and they've always gotten my respect and all that stuff. And it's not even like patronizing respect either. They've gotten my respect because it wasn't even like it was earned. It was the fact that it was recognized. You know what I'm saying? So yes, when you mentioned earlier about living back in the 50s and stuff, it's crazy that you mentioned that, because I watched the Tina Turner documentary last night, the one that came out on HBO Max. And you know what? I saw What Love Got to Do with It when it came out in '93, which was like the Angela Bassett like movie that talked about Tina Turner like getting out of the abusive relationship with Ike Turner. First of all, it's horrifying seeing what that man did to her. It's horrifying and stuff like that. And to think that there are still men in this day and age who are capable of it, and even consider it an okay thing to do stuff like that to their partner, their spouse, someone who has their children and stuff like that. It's sickening. And you know what? Ike Turner's dead and gone, and I'm not trying to make this about Ike Turner and Tina Turner and whatnot, but people like that, I have no compassion for. I don't. So, going back to this hot topic, if you're one of those people, you've lost my respect over here at Crossroads. And guess what? I'm the head MC for Crossroads PlayStation Podcast. So I will say it right now. Like, it's not welcome. Boss Rush games were be better. Better your way of thinking when it comes to women, because guess what? Women, just like Beyonce, run the world.
I love the Beyonce quote.